Hey, good afternoon. I am back. I'm a couple of minutes late. I'm sorry. I've been thrashing through this reserializer thingy that we started with on this morning. Excuse me. And I'm having some fun with it. Not really. I'm just trying various different things, and it's being truculent. So, with no further ado, we'll do our screen share. Here we go. And property. I'm running into all kinds of gotchas. Value kind equals string. Okay. Now it's getting really grumpy here. Can I just add just a raw property? No, it really doesn't like that, does it? So filtered object, we're building up a new JSON object and we want to add a key value pair, or there's an overload here. So as soon as I'm past this goofiness, I will okay, so we need to give it the property name. And we need to pass it a JSON node. So let's call it a value node. This is all going to make sense in a minute. Node, value node equals new JSON node. Now it doesn't like that, so I can't create an instance or abstract type of JSON node. Okay, so can I just say property dot as node? What is property? It's JSON property dot value dot as to nope. Get value as a JSON node. How about that? No, does not contain. Okay. Microsoft Edge, Copilot, give me some advice here, guys. Help me out. What's that? Node dot parse, JSON string as object. Okay. Yeah. JSON object access just like you would with JObject, blah, 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 blah. And what's it trying to do here? JSON object type, here's how you can create from a JSON string. Okay, great. I'm using dotNet 8 and it's System.Text.Json library. I'm currently iterating over the properties in a JSON document, selectively adding those to a new JSON object. I need to convert a JSON property to a JSON node that I can add as the value in the, pull this off to the side for a second. Filtered object is a what? It's a JSON object. Let's close mail for now. As a new, in the key value pair collection that I'm adding to with JSON object dot add. And I hope that prompt was clear and not super silly. Okay, deserialize the JSON string into a JSON document. Got it. Convert the property to a node. Dot as object method on the JSON property value. Okay, well, let's try that. So I'm out here, property dot value dot as object. We go property dot name as object. Oh, you silly thing. Where are you? Copilot. Property name equals ID. Property name equals name. JSON object dot add. Value as object. Var. Now, JSON element does not contain a definition for as object. Can I do property dot as object? Nope. This object model is goofy. Unfortunately, JSON property dot value returns a JSON element which does not have a as object method. To convert a JSON element representing an object to a JSON object, you can create a new and add the properties from the JSON element. Oh boy. Property object, new JSON, property object dot add, property name, property value. I'm not sure I want to do it this way. But okay, we'll try it. Pull this over to my other screen. When you get down to manipulating JSON as a document or a tree or something like that, things can get exceptionally goofy exceptionally quickly. So value node equals new JSON object. Got it. And value node dot add property dot name property dot value, and it's still being a cow. JSON element to JSON node. So I guess the question is, in dotNet 8 using System.Text.Json, how do I convert a JSON element instance into an instance of JSON node? Using the deserialize method. What? Var doc equals parse, JSON string, node equals doc.root element. That's really, really silly. That doesn't make sense at all. Property.value. What's it complaining about? .node. JSON node dot parse. Property.value dot to string. Let's try that. And I don't actually want to do that as this. I want to pull this up in here. Get rid of that. Get rid of the extra blank line. I want to toggle activate. No, I want to delete all of the breakpoints. Let's remove all of those. And I just want to add this guy back. So let's debug it. And in a second, like as soon as I see this bit work, I'm going to talk through what I've been doing to get our serializer to behave itself. All right, it's doing its thing, it's trying. Do. It's debugging. I really need the call stack, the watch window. I do want my breakpoints up here where I can see them. There we are. So our property, the value, the name is age years, the value is 0. We still haven't gotten rid of our default static types or value types yet. We'll get to that. But I want to make sure that our filtered object now contains some properties. Okay, so we've got age years is 0. Let's continue. And our JSON property, our property value, our property is species. And it does not like H is an invalid start of a value. Value node, value kind equals number. That's not what we need. All right, so JSON node dot parse. our property. Value. String 0, age years. So it's also not keeping the type. JSON path value kind is number. Okay. Property value is that. The value kind is a string. So let's just carry on and let it crash. So that isn't what we want either. Unless, well, no. We do have some overloads here. So let's take a look at these overloads. We can do a reader, JSON node options. No. Stop it. This is the stream, don't need that. JSON string, node options. Okay, that doesn't help us one little bit. I wonder if instead of property name, JSON node value, key value pair, string JSON node property. Bring back Copilot. That doesn't help me a bit because we're not dealing with Java. Document.parse, JSON string, doc.root element. Ugh. Is that really what I need to do? That's very, very silly. Very silly. Is there a way to convert a System.Text.Json element into a System.Text.Json node and retain the values? Is it JSON value kind? Equals JSON node.parse JSON text. Deserialized doc. That's really, really, really silly. JSON node while preserving the original value kind. I can't believe that's the only way to do this in C#. That's mind-blowing. Heck with it, let's try. Is JSON document mutable? Obtain the structural content of a JSON value without automatically instantiating data values. Now, okay, how is it happening over here? This is really, really, really gross. Gross, and I don't like it. Var temp node current prop value node equals JSON node dot parse no, because it's going to just blow up on the same thing again. String prop value equals property dot value dot JSON serializer, just serializer dot nope JSON serializer dot serialize property dot value prop value current prop value node. Let's try that. This feels exceptionally silly, and I'm not a fan of what we're doing here. But what the heck? Nothing else is working. Next step is to lick the science. Okay, it's doing things. It's thinking. And here we go. Let her rip. Here we go. So we've got our property. We've got our value. And let's see what that JSON looks like. Prop value is 0. Great. Current prop value node. All right. Property name, current prop value node. And let's go. Current prop value is species. Let's do that. Prop value is that. Go here. Okay. I don't know why it's being so goofy, but it seems to have worked. And it looks like we've got some stuff come out. So, JSON serializer options. Final options, I mean it, equals create JSON options. dot omit defaults, just to see if it'll actually do anything for us. Dot with right indented. Now, I had changed some stuff in omit defaults during the break just to try and get things to work. And these changes didn't do a darn thing for me. Some documentation suggested that these conditions might be acting as flag enums, but after looking at the actual definition of this enumeration, I'm highly skeptical that ORing these values together is going to work for me. So let's try debugging it again. I don't know that omit defaults is going to do much for us. But let's let it build. Here we go. We're running our test. Well, some of the zeros. Okay, so those got omitted. So that's good. Now why is the rebuilt because I didn't include my final options. Save. So when you declare a variable that you need to pass into a method in order for that method to behave itself the way you want it to, and you don't pass that variable in, you're not going to get any actual changes manifest. It's one of those silly mistakes that happens to all of us all the darn time. So here's that. What does it look like? Oh, well, will you look at that? All right. All right. So we're getting a little better. A little bit better. But we've still got all this encoding and stuff like that. Because those are getting injected as string literals. So I have a feeling that when we're doing this stuff up here, so new value equals property.value.toString.purge null elements. Let's see what's happening up in here. And I'm not adding this the same way as I am down here. So what I need to do is we're adding that, we're adding. Let's just step through this and see what happens when this is going on. So let's get our new value. We'll just step over this. New value has nothing in it because this is appearance. This one, we'll step over it, see what it's got. All right, so we've got woodcarver, skills is an empty array. Let's see what it's doing here. Our new element is that. Okay, and our property name is vocation. Oh, look, I have a visitor. Hi, Lil. No, get off my computer, you silly cat. Oh, what code did she just modify? Where was my cursor? She just did some typing. Ah. Filtered object. I want to see what these look like. Okay, so this comes in as a string. And I don't think I want that to come in as a string. So I think I see what I did wrong here. So we're getting our, right here, we're getting our the serialized value of the complex inner object. And we're purging the null elements. And then we're just turning that raw string into our new value. So what I actually need to do here, I think, is boy. Okay, we're not going to do that inside here because we don't want it to be null. What we're going to do is var complex prop value equals serializer.deserialize. No, Json Serializer dot deserialize new value deserialize it to a JSON object equals complex prop value. Save this and let's debug it. Oh, yeah. Let's see if it'll let us restart. Yeah, we got to rebuild everything and all that fun stuff. But I bet this will do what we need it to. And this is absolutely banana pants. And this code is ugly. And it's complicated. And I do not like the way it reads. So once it's working, what's our new element look like? And our property name is appearance and it's empty. Okay. New element. I wish I had an immediate window. Is there an immediate window in VS Code? Output, debug console. I'm going to go ask Copilot. New topic. In Visual Studio Code, is there an immediate window? I don't want to execute JavaScript code. Can I use the debugger console when I'm working with .NET and C#? Okay, so we've got a breakpoint. Are we at a breakpoint? Yes, we are. So let's take a look at our debug console. And new element dot. Do we have IntelliSense here? New element dot. It's a JSON object of 0. New element dot count dot length equals 0. Okay. So new element. I want to know more about new element. It's a JSON object. JSON string. It's a path. New element dot has children. Nope. Raw view. Parent is null. Root. No. Options. No, don't care about those. If new element is not equal to null, and new element dot count is greater than 0, we'll add it. See what that does for us. Keep going. And for some reason, it's still got all this nonsense in it. Because let's pop down here. We'll rerun it again. So we're doing all this work up here. And it looks like that's good. And now I'm getting texts from the missus. All right. So final options. Let's take a look at what our filtered object looks like. It's got nothing. And go. Step over. Our filtered object has some properties. Whoop. Okay. For some reason, blacksmith is escaped. And I don't want that. Chandu, how's it going? So filtered object, skills, that's fine. It's an empty array. Oh, I haven't messed around with machine learning stuff heavily yet. For that, you really want to be using Python for machine learning, especially if you're doing it from scratch. And I have not spent much time with Python at all during my career, none professionally. I've spent a couple hours here and there kicking the tires on it, but not really anything appreciable in the way of. All right, so rather than doing this and the rebuilt JSON and all that stuff, well, you can hook C# into the machine learning ecosystem. If you use, say, Azure Machine Learning Service, that essentially exposes your models as callable APIs. And then you would just call those from your .NET applications and treat them just like you would, say, calling into a database or a Redis cache or what have you. And for custom machine learning, like the stuff that you sort out with Python or whatever, I just build your model with Python or whatever programming language you use. It could be R. Wrap that model in an API using like Fast API or Flask or whatever, assuming you're in Python, and then put that whole thing inside a Docker container, expose the API out of the Docker container, and then bam, you call into it from C# as if it's a hosted service. It's a few extra steps, but C# is really not built out to do the type of iterative work that I've seen a lot of Python and machine learning experts deal with. So, and honestly, folks that deal with machine learning, they're Python experts. So I say let them build the models and then do just enough API development to expose those models as APIs, and then let us get them hoisted into containers or hosted as a service somewhere, and then let us take the rest. Yeah, machine learning is fascinating. I do not have the mathematics background to really get into it. I don't see what's behind the asterisks. I think my mod bot is putting something out. Do you mean LLM, like a large language models and stuff? All right. So our serialization is getting better, but it's still not fantastic because this stuff is getting brought in as a string, and that's not what I want. Oh, LLMs, if you're in the .NET ecosphere or ecosystem, um, check out Semantic Kernel. And RAG is also really interesting. Python has a lot of libraries that make those types of things an awful lot easier than you would think they would be. But again, it's interpreted code, so it's not going to run nearly as quickly as compiled code. Semantic kernel, it really requires you to think in more functional terms and really stick closer to solid principles, especially the single responsibility principle. And you got to drive that all the way down to the function level. Like your functions in semantic kernel need to do one thing and one thing only. And that means a function will compute or derive a value and return it. And then you need another function to take the result of the compute function and assign it to a property on an object. Because if you tie those two together, you're going to get yourself in trouble because you're going to have a million different versions of that function if you have to run it for each property on, say, a complex object. Semantic kernel is really just a bridge between the .NET world and, say, a large language model, or not even necessarily a large language model, but any language model. Um, it could be an OpenAI model hosted in Azure. It could be a model that you're hosting in your own domain via containers and Hugging Face. Um, if I ever get through this darn Json serialization stuff that I'm struggling with, I'm going to be maybe getting to a point where I host a language model in a container on my local development environment, wrap an API around it, and then call into it from semantic kernel to give my character generator a little bit of AI zhuzh. But that's a big fat maybe. I've got a long way to go before I get to that part. Now, I want to get this serialization stuff sorted out here, and my time is running short. So let me focus here. So it's getting rid of all of my nulls. Great. It's getting rid of all the default values. Fantastic. But for my complex properties, it's doing something dumb. And I don't want that to happen. So I think I'm using a little bit of recursion in here. And I don't think I want to do that because I think that's where my trouble's coming from. So I've got a lot of good progress here. I think what I need to do, I've got the serialize, purge null elements. If instead of reserializing out to a string, I do it this way. private static JSON object. Cleanse nulls, and I accept a string. No. I'm going to accept a JSON object. I can't call it object. That's a keyword. Temp object. Filtered object equals new JSON. Return filtered object. Okay. For each var element in temp object dot, what do we have access to in here? Root dot we might just be able to do root. And root gives us node dot as array. And this element is a node. So I'm going to rename this to current node. Rename current node. There we go. First thing we're going to do is get out early. If current node dot value kind equals JSON value kind dot null, current node dot get value kind. If it's null, we are going to continue. Let's do this. If current node is null, we'll continue as well. Filtered object dot root dot add. Are you going to let me? Is there no add? Nope. Dot add current node dot get property name current node. There. So that will get rid of all of the nulls. If current node dot get value kind equals JSON value kind dot array and we're going to be using this value kind var current value kind equals current node dot get value kind var current prop name equals current node dot get property name current prop name. Good. And now, instead of this stacked if, switch current value kind default break, and on defaults we can just add it. Okay. So let's do this. Cut that. Paste it here. Now, case JSON value kind dot null case stop break continue. And break is not necessary there because we are going to the next iteration of the loop. Skip it. We're purging nulls. Case JSON value kind dot array break if current node dot value dot as array dot count equals 0. Continue. I'm going to bring this back down here. Yeah, that seems about right. We can get rid of the null. We're handling it. We can get rid of this. We're handling it. And case, JSON value kind dot object, and let's see. Var null cleansed node equals cleanse nulls on our current node and then we can say var current prop value equals current node dot value as value. Now, will current prop value, can I use that down here? Great. Now we're getting that back as a JSON object. So I need to convert this JSON object to a node. Current prop value equals null cleansed node dot as nope. As value gives us a JSON value. As value and we can break out of here. And I think that gives us what we're looking for. And that means I can come down here, pull this out, put it there, get rid of all of this crap. Come on. There we go. JSON object, temp object equals, go away plugins, you're annoying, equals JSON Serializer.deserialize a JSON object from the provided string. Var filtered object equals cleanse nulls on our temp object if, let's get rid of those, temp object is not equal to null, equals null, we're going to return JSON string. String, rebuild JSON. Okay, so now we've got a much cleaner form of our recursive function. It's going to let us go out through our nested class. And my hope is that because I'm not doing extra serialization in here, it's just going to rebuild it without any of the nulls. So let's give it a try. And see what we get. So we've got our cleanse nulls. And we're in the purge null elements. Let's step in. Doesn't like that. The node must be of type JSON array. Okay. Let's debug it again. But root dot, do we have get children? Nope. Dot what? As enumerable? Current node. Current value kind, current node dot. So it's coming out as a current node key value pair. Dot value. Dot value. Dot key value dot as value. Current node. Can I do a current prop value? Dot as array. Good. Current prop value dot as object. That works. Okay. Save that. And we'll come in here. Da 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 da. Running. Excuse me. all this just to tidy up the output. Okay, good. Drop a breakpoint here. Let her rip. Actually, I'm going to drop the breakpoint here so that I can see what I'm working with here. And our current value kind is a string. The property name is species. The value is half orc. And I feel like it's going to do something dumb. The node already has a parent. Oh, you suck. Filtered object.add. Current prop value. All right, so I'm gonna have to I can't add my node. I gotta duplicate it. Var value filtered object value equals current prop value dot clone. Whoop. And I'm going to say filtered prop value. Rerun it. So JSON's great when you're doing normal stuff, but then you want to start stripping things out before you send them out to the UI or to another service or whatever, and you start getting into weird territory, and it stops being fun. So current value kind is a string. We've got a name. It's a species. Let's run down to here. Step over this. And it allowed us to add the property value. Good. Good, good, good. Let's run it again. Oh, that exploded. The node must be of type JSON value. Current prop type value as value. Okay, so current value kind is object. Stop. Let's do that and see what breaks. Nothing. Run it again. Save it. And this is what's called FAFO development, where you just mess around until you get it. Now the good news is, once I've got this sorted out and the code is pretty and it's doing everything I want it to, I'm not going to have to mess with this ever again. Unless I need to tweak things somehow. I'm going to step into cleanse nulls. And let it run. Let it run again. Current prop value is a gnome. Let it run. What's our current prop value? It is an empty appearance. Let's step in. Lil, not right now, girl. She's bored. And she's old. And she's very grumpy. Now I've got a whole bunch of nodes that don't have anything on them. And let's just run down here. Run to the cursor. Where's run to cursor? Here it is. Our filtered object is just an empty JSON object. Let's step out. Current prop value equals that. The node must be of type JSON value. Stop. So we got to get rid of as value. Now, there's one more thing we got to check here. If null cleanse node dot count equals is greater than 0, then we'll assign. No, wait. Is 0. Then we're going to move to the next property. If it's got stuff in it, we'll go on to assign it to the current prop value. Are we? Yeah, we are. I have a feeling that we're going to fall afoul of this. We will get there. Check 1, 2. Do I still have sound? Or did she mute me? Did that cat mute the microphone on me? Nope, I guess not. All right. Let's go. And let's drop a breakpoint in here. Not really concerned about this anymore. Let's go. Lil, no, not right now, girl. Current prop value is that. We're going to deep clone it. We're going to add it. Okay, let's get this back. Our null cleanse null is that. We're not even going to add it to our filtered object. Continue. Cat, no, not right now, girl. Get down. I know you're grumpy and you're bored. So our current prop value is that. Let's step over. And do we have a breakpoint down here? We don't. Let's add that because we're in recursion land. So we've got our null cleanse node. It has exactly one thing in it. That worked. Current prop name is vocation. Great. Go. And let's just clear all of these breakpoints as we go. I want to see what we end up with. It says it's done executing. Look at that. We have a nicely formatted JSON object. So do I have a terminal window open out here? I do. Let's run it real fast out here. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. That's a whole lot more. It's a whole awful lot more easy to read, and immediately see what's going on. Just for laughs. Just for laughs. I'm going to copy that JSON object. And let's go out to ChatGPT. Say, I have a JSON object that describes some basic information about an NPC in my D&D game. Using this JSON object and the information in the SRD PDF, please add a few details about this character. Let's see what ChatGPT does with this. Oh, it's an enriched JSON object. Okay. We've got some traits. Oh my gosh, look at all this stuff. It's not quite what I wanted it to do. Holy cow, look at all this stuff. Okay. That's impressive. But what I was really hoping you do for me is write a couple bullet points about this character. Please make up a suitable name. Give them a description. Give a description of their appearance and basic personality. Keep it brief, but use plain language. Our gnome hunter with the Outlander background is Fizzle Bramblefoot. Small wiry gnome, curious green eyes, yeah. Well. Look at that. So, just for ha-has, let's do it again. run my console client, copy. Excellent. Use the last set of instructions I gave you, but apply what you did to this JSON data. Remember, I need bullet points in plain language. Let's see what they do for me now. Well, well, well. I quite like this. I quite like this. So we've got a JSON fragment that I can paste in a ChatGPT with a little bit of instructions, and it'll give me a workable NPC description. So that's enough for today. Tomorrow, we're going to take all of this work I did today. That's going to go off into the utilities framework where it already is. But I'm going to do a good bit of cleanup on this code later this afternoon. I'm going to check all of that in. And tomorrow, we're going to start filling in some more of the details. Whoops. For, say, character appearance. Actually, we'll start with appearance because that descends from our species template. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to figure out how these templates are going to be expressed as .NET code, and then how we're going to apply the different character attribute rules that we store in our template to the actual character sheet or the townsfolk object itself. So until then, I thank you for putting up with my stumbling through the low-level